Vibration volume 0%.
Good afternoon, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be looking at, or feeling at, or listening to, depending on, if you're me, or you're an audience member that has eyes, or you're an audience member who is blind. We're going to be speaking about Transformers Studio Series 86 Junkheap. I personally think it's a really great Transformer, and I enjoyed the robot mode of it. And today we're going to be doing a quick More Than Meets the Eye episode on the robot mode. And tomorrow we'll do an episode of Blindformers because this transformation is slightly different. And it's different enough that I consider it a Blindformers worthy episode. And afterwards we'll talk about its vehicle mode. And in that mode we'll have Retgar riding Junkheap so that we can have a difference of look and feel to it. This is currently Junkheap riding Retgar. There's Retgar in his motorcycle mode with his prehensile little blasters hanging out directly underneath the windshield. One can fire, they can fire in either direction. They're like, I love the fact that they are prehensile. So you can fire all over the place. It is a bit wonky, it is a bit weird, but that's what it is. Retgar was an odd character. Now let's go ahead and get him off the get Junkheap off of the motorcycle and talk about Junkheap by himself. Set Retgar off over here to the side. I put Junkheap's wheels on Retgar's spikes on the back just so that Retgar would hold up better. And now he's like a quad, except 3 wheels in the back, 1 wheel in the front. That's a crazy vehicle, I tell you what. Now let's straighten out the legs of him. There we go. Let me check before we really get into it to see if the wheels that came with Retgar and the wheels that came with Junkheap are any different. They are not. They are the same exact mold. So there you go. The wheels are the same. That's one thing handled. Now, let's talk about pinwheel accessory. Pinwheel accessory is exactly the same. I have it stuck on his port on his back for the pinwheel accessory, but you can also store it in his hand. Same with the Retgar. This guy also has some great hands that can spin in place. They get 360-degree movement, and that's nice because we're getting more and more sword-fighting robots, so with the advantage of having more and more robots that have melee weapons, we can have more and more robot fights. That's cool. And I do like the fact that you could have this guy straddling a Retgar and holding a pinwheel axe in each hand or some crazy weaponry. So let's go over his articulation. There's not much different than there was with the Retgar. We've got full up and down motion on the shoulders, 360 degree with the shoulders. The elbows only pull a 90. There is a bit of movement hindrance by these big shield plates. One has a gun on his left and one has nothing but armor on his right. And I'll talk about those when we talk about sculpt. The hands we already talked about, though as part of transformation, they do fold backwards. So you can have him holding something wonky or like something that's heavy and it hangs low. You could do that. There is 360-degree rotation in the waist. The side leg movement is ratcheted. The up and down is not, but you kind of don't want that ratcheted thing because you're gonna have him sitting on another motorcycle. The knees are not ratcheted, but they do fold forward almost 90 degrees and do fold back 90 degrees. And they are decent knees. They have a stiff joint. Further down, the feet can move back and they can move. They can move back and they can move forward, and they have a side tilt to them. Now, siege port wise, we only get 1, 2 on his lower legs, and then 3, 4 on the bottoms of his feet, and 5 and 6 in his hands. And his back doesn't have a siege port. It only has a port that is specially designed to hold the pinwheel axe. So that is all the ports. Now let's get into sculpt. And I just want to say that I love the plastic he's made out of. This is some top quality stuff right here. I have absolutely loved. I can't stand feeling any of the Titans Return toys. Any of that stuff, Combiner Wars or Power of the Primes, all that plastic really just doesn't feel right in my hands. This plastic, since the Siege War for Cybertron line began, feels very right. It's I don't know what they do. Maybe they add more pressure to the plastic. It feels more like Lego plastic than anything else. So let's go into talking about his head sculpt. We've got Oh no, your little ear thing. So we talked about everything else. Let's start on sculpt work, and we're gonna first talk this awesome head. All right, his head sculpt is amazing. I remember this guy from the movie, but I don't remember him very much because he was a background Junkyon, so I didn't really pay attention to him as much as I should have, honestly. His face, I do remember him being the guy that's got the crazy Viking helmet on and the weird face mask, and that's what this gives us. This gives us this crazy face mask that he's got going on, and he's got a you got it that he's got that brow underneath the helmet edge, and then he's got a eyebrow kind of setup going with the deep set eyes, and then this weird crazy face mask that's got all these cuts and slits in it. And of course, on either side of his head, he has these suspension springs that double as, at least I think they are, texture wise they feel like suspension springs. um, Either that or some weird spark plugs. But they come down to a point, and they really act as the kind of the a minotaur's head. It really feels like either a minotaur's head, or it feels as if somebody has a Viking helmet on, but instead of the normal horns for the Viking helmet, they went and got some Texas Longhorns and put them on a Viking helmet. That's kind of what it feels like. It's really cool. It reminds me a lot of a crazy biker's helmet, and I think that's awesome. And this guy totally screams biker. So that's his head sculpt. His armor sculpt on his chest plate doesn't have the prehensile guns like Rekgar had, but he does have. It's not perfectly symmetrical, which I appreciate, and that's important, I think, because he is a creature made of junk, and to be completely perfectly symmetrical would kind of ruin the feel of something made out of junk. Uh, let's see. Actually, kind of feels like it is almost perfectly symmetrical, but it's just slightly off. And he does have nipple armor. I don't know why. I honestly have no idea why there are two bits for nipples here. What was up with this? Were they trying to showcase them as being like shirtless barbarians? Is that why their color is the way it is and they have nipples? But there's only two Junkyons so far. So when I get the third Junkyon, the one that they've announced in Legacy, we'll see if that one has nipples. And if that one has nipples, then we know all Junkyons have nipples for some reason or another. That's just weird. It's weird. Let's go down here to the core of him. He's got this big center circle thing. Don't know what it's for, but it feels cool. It feels robotic-y, and it's the same exact thing that was going on with Rekgar. So he's got that and similar to Rekgar. Hand-wise, he does have brass knuckles on that have spikes on them. That's kind of neat on his hands. But I think that was the same as Rekgar. And he does have these armor bits on the side. Now, this armor bit on his left-hand side has a big gun sculpt on it. And to showcase that, I've got my blast effect box right here. Just open it up, grab a blast effect out, and we'll put that blast effect. Boom! Look at that. That blast effect fits on this gun very well. Unlike the Transformers Legacy Leader Class Blitzwing tank mode, the tank turret doesn't support any blast effects because for some reason somebody dropped the ball and made that character like a little bit too small. This one's perfectly sized for blast effects. So woot on Junkheap. Junkheap is so much better than Blitzwing already. Now, we've got on the right hand side, we've got this really cool armor sculpt, kind of like a Zaku 2's shoulder armor from the original Gundam, except it doesn't wrap around the top, but it does go down the entire length of the forearm. The upper arm, the bicep area. It's got these really cool bits that are sticking out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of them, and they feel like big bolts. Like this armor, these chunks of armor were just straight up bolted onto the side of the motorcycle. And I love it. I love the ruggedness of it. I like that it feels kind of like it happened in a junkyard where they're like, oh, this will work. And you slapped it on. The gun mount, actually, on his other arm does have 3 of those big bolts towards the back where it turns. That's really cool, too. I like the fact that they included those. And let's move on to any more new sculpt work. Nope. Nothing really new. It's got the same skirt sculpts as the Rekgar. The legs are the same as Rekgar's. The feet may be different than Rekgar's slightly, but that's about it. It is a decent robot. I think it's a really great find if you can find one of these guys, especially if you can find it on sale. Um, he is totally, in my opinion, worth the money, especially if you have Rekgar. You know, if you want a nice Junkyon collection, this guy is so different than Rekgar, yet so similar. Like, he fits in with Rekgar, yet he is distinctly different than Rekgar. And I absolutely love that. It's not just a repaint, it's not just a remold, it's a brand new character, and it feels right in my hands. And I'm really happy with this new addition to the Studio Series 86 line. You know me, I've been trying my best to collect the majority of them. I still have to get a hold of 2 Nas because I have 1 Na, but I wanted 3. Is an RV builder, and I don't have the copy of Scourge's Armada, but I do have just about everything else. Yeah, even the Preceptor. Just not the wheelie or the spike. I do need to pick those 2 up for this collection. One day I may do a video where hi Creep, what's up you? Huh? Now, one day I may do a video where I show off the collection of all the Studio Series 86 stuff I have so far. And, though, I'll be honest with you, Starscream is not sitting in the throne. That's Galvatron's throne. Galvatron, if it's in the throne, so much better. It's almost as if they built the throne for Galvatron and then sold it with Starscream. Alright, but thanks for watching, guys. Having a great day. Tune in next Prime where we'll do a quick Blindformers episode on how to transform your Studio Series 86 Junkheap into his motorcycle mode from his robot mode. And then the day after that, we will do an episode where I will have Rekgar riding the Junkheap motorcycle and talking about the Junkheap motorcycle and all of its pros and cons. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.